Bat family, and welcome back to Holy BatCast, brought to you by real fans for real movies. You can find us all over social media on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for Holy BatCast, you'll find us. And if you're a big fan of the show and you want to support us, you can do that on Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/holybatcast. As always, a big thank you to you guys, anyone who has supported us that way. It really does mean a lot. I know you don't have to do it, so thank you, thank you, thank you. Big shout out to our patrons. You guys are awesome. We're a proud part of the Real Fans Podcast Network, so if you're looking for other shows to check out, you can check those out at rf4rm.com. And as always, I'm your Bat host, Andy DiGenova. You can find me on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Letterboxd. It's just my name, Andy DiGenova. This episode we promised you was coming, so last time me and Brendan gave our spoiler-filled review of Superman. Then I was gone for a week, I warned you, but now we're back. And I've got my other Bat brother with me to answer like somewhere in the realm of 8 million emails from you guys.
Only 8 million? Oh, we're slacking.
I know. But we have lots and lots of thoughts from you all, the listeners, that we want to hear, and we want to answer questions, all that good stuff. And so joining me, you just heard his voice. It's Jamie. Welcome back, Jamie.
Well, thank you. Good to be back. Missed everybody. Last time was a scheduling conflict, which anybody who does podcasting knows scheduling is tough enough, let alone when you're trying to schedule with people that are literally on the other side of the planet.
Yeah. And it was a crazy weekend, and there's all of that too. So, you just sometimes have to do what you gotta, but I'm glad you're back. And the best thing is now that you and Brendan are separated again, so the feud continues.
Yeah, I mean, he's an insufferable kid. Everybody knows that.
Well, that is part of his charm.
It is.
Well, good. I'm glad to have you back. And thank you for recording your spoilery thoughts on Superman that I could include them last time.
Yeah, it was... I felt like I was stumbling around there for a minute, but like as soon as I was done recording, I was like, oh God, I forgot to mention like 3 things I really wanted to say. And then I was like, whatever, we'll talk about it eventually. So,
well, that's good news. If you've got them in mind now,
well,
we're going to talk about Superman for a while.
Are we still like in a spoiler wall area, or are we just kind of over that now?
I mean, we're going into weekend number 3. And so
I feel like the majority of people who listen to this show that wanted to see that movie have already seen that movie.
Correct. So I think spoilers are okay, but let's introduce, and I want to do a quick little Superman box office update, and then you can get some stuff off your chest, and we'll start reading what the listeners have to say. How about that?
Sure.
Is that a good plan?
Yeah, there's really only one thing I want to say at this point. But
okay, great.
And you guys already talked about it, but I just want to say it out loud because, wow.
All right, great. I want your input. So here we go. Let's check in on what's happening with Superman.
Costing me a Sizzler gift card. That's what's happening.
Well, that's true. Superman is doing very well, just not quite as well as Jamie's high projections from the Real Fans episode.
And to be clear, I see no measure of failure here. I see no measure of disappointment here. I was just hoping that this was going to be another Wonder Woman, and it doesn't look like that's going to quite be the case. But I am personally... it's not like they're paying me for making this movie or anything. I'm very pleased with the success that it's had so far.
Yeah, it's doing great, especially in North America. So we're recording this on Friday, July 25th, which means we're going into weekend number 3. But that means yesterday on Thursday, it added another $4.7 million. I will say one of the great things about Superman is that its weekday grosses have been very, very strong. So it had an A- cinema score. The word of mouth seems very strong. I feel like there's been a lot of conversation around it, at least from what I have seen. and mostly positive stuff, just people talking about the movie and embracing the movie and things they loved about it. So the hype is there, the conversation is there, and the box office is holding well, which also, bodes well. So again, $4.7 million last night on a Thursday, which brings its domestic total to 264 going into weekend number 3. Overseas, it's not doing as well. It did 173 up until now, which brings it to a worldwide total for now of $437 million, which is still nothing to sneeze at. But those domestic grosses and the domestic holds have been very strong, and we'll just have to see what happens with worldwide. So yeah, it's not the Wonder Woman or, I was hoping for like a Barbie situation, something like, it's not that, but that's okay. It's still doing incredibly well. It's well received. It's well reviewed. And again, the second weekend hold was really strong. It was 53%, which is great. If you get less than 55%, that's strong. 53 is really something to be proud of. And then we'll see this weekend how well it holds against Fantastic Four First Steps, because that's really going to be quite the test with two big, well-reviewed superhero movies in the market at the same time. We'll see how that goes.
Well, judging by what I saw in the parking lot of the movie theater last night, this morning, and tonight, driving by it, going back and forth to pickleball, Superman is not going to be number one this weekend.
No, I'm sure it's not. But I wouldn't expect it to be. Yeah, Fantastic Four had a great Thursday night preview number, so they're headed for a really big weekend. I can't wait to see it myself, personally. I don't think I'm going to get to see it, though, for at least another week, because guess what? I'm leaving town again.
You're like a nomad or something, aren't you?
It's just it's the life we live. So yeah, I'm leaving town on Sunday, which means I'm not going to get to it this weekend, which means I won't get to it until I'm back. I'm gone for a week. Going
I
to
can wait
Tokyo.
until I'm bored and it's on Disney Plus.
No, I do want to see it in theaters. I like the Fantastic Four. I like what I'm hearing about the movie, so I do want to see it. Normally, I would probably be going this weekend, but again, I got to get on a plane Sunday morning before the sun comes up. Anyway, so box office strong, and we'll just see how it keeps going through the rest of the summer. But we have a lot of other things to talk about with the movie, but you said there were some things you wished you had mentioned in your review. So let's
Well,
start there.
one of them you already know, because that was literally the first thing I said to you when I got out of the movie theater. The motor scooting Hall of Justice. I can't believe that was like my favorite thing about the entire movie, and I forgot to mention it when I was talking about it. So,
but I did give you the credit.
I know you did, but I just still wanted to hear myself say it out loud, because
Okay.
wow,
Okay.
there's a Hall of Justice in this universe, and it looks like the one from Super Friends. And buddy, I am all in on this.
Excellent.
I am so pleased about that, because, again, tonally speaking, I think this is really the universe that a lot of people have wanted. I think it's the one you and I have discussed ad nauseum, that we were just. But it's not that we don't like what we had previously. It's just we were ready for that more fantastical, more comic booky, and my God, I think that's where we're headed. So I'm very, very pleased, very eager to see what comes. I'm waiting with bated breath for more announcements with Batman, and I think there was just a Booster Gold tidbit that popped up a day or two ago that I saw. Maybe
they hired a new showrunner.
Yeah, so there's movement going, but they're not throwing everything at the wall, seeing what sticks, and then you never hear about a project again. So
Yeah,
I appreciate that approach, given what we've dealt with in the past. It was so one of the most frustrating things about that previous universe was how many things that were on the horizon that just never crossed over that threshold.
Right.
So aggravating. But real quick, I just want to say a guy that I work with. I've mentioned it before. He's not a comic book guy, but he likes movies. He likes fantasy stuff. He likes superhero stuff. Likes the Marvel movies. Liked a lot of the DC movies. Loves Henry Cavill's his favorite Superman. And he went and saw this movie, and he said, "Yeah, that was really good. I really liked it a lot." So the air quote casual fan base seems to be, judging by the small sample that I've experienced face to face, seems to be content with it. I was over at some people's house that I play pickleball with, having a game night, playing card games and stuff a week ago Saturday. And I told everybody, I was like, Superman's really good. You guys should go see it. And they're like, yeah, okay, whatever. And then I saw the one guy a couple days later, and he's like, "Hey, I saw Superman and I really liked it. I thought it was really good." And I was like, "Oh, cool." And then he's like, "Yeah, I'd never seen a Superman movie before." I was like, "Wait, this was your first Superman movie?" He's like, "Yeah, I've never seen any of the other ones." I said, "Buddy, you got
Hmm.
homework to do." So
Yeah.
again, the casual audience reception of the movie seems to be very positive. So that's helpful to what we're going to get going forward, I think. And speaking to your box office numbers, it's helping those things as well, because those are the fans that would hear things about, you know, a movie getting critically ransacked, or people saying how they didn't care for the approach or style or choices that were made in previous iterations. Those kind of people would probably be like, "Yeah, I'm okay." Like this cat had never seen it. We got freaking near 50 years of Superman movies, not counting like Bullman and stuff like that. But this cat had never, he's late 20s, I think, never seen a Superman movie before until now.
Wow.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, and also like the weekend matinee numbers have been really strong too, which means people are bringing their families, which also is a really good thing. And it's also something that I think we've been saying needed to be the case with this movie.
sure. Yeah.
So very
Because think
cool.
about how many of us saw these, like Batman 89 or anything like that when we were kids.
Yeah.
That certainly drove the insane numbers that movies like that had. So,
Right. Oh,
Superman isn't going to be that. I think it's at this point a verified financial hit. I don't think anybody can, with a straight face, tell me that that's not the case at this point, unless you're just trying to be picky about something. But it's just not that runaway. Superman's in every corner of every store and every place in America right now. It's in a
right.
lot of them, but not all of them.
Yeah. It's
So
not quite
it's not
Supermania.
it's not Supermania
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, the other thing I wanted to mention, just because as you were talking, it was something I thought of is piggybacking off of the hype of especially that first week of Superman, they released the first teaser poster for Supergirl, which I thought was really clever.
Yes.
Of the look up, but then up is there's graffiti over it that says out, so it's look out, and you see Supergirl having a drink in the corner. Thought it was a very clever first marketing to be like, hey, if you love Superman, just wait till next summer, you're getting Supergirl, and it's going to be a very different attitude.
I did see a little bit of blowback about that, just a
Really?
little, not a
Huh.
lot. Because once in a while I scan through and read comment section, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's why I don't read comment sections. And my initial reaction to that poster, even though I liked it, was, well, it is a little similar to what we've seen before. And sure enough, comment sections on the official post of that were, oh, so it's just Shazam with a girl this time. I was like, oh,
Oh, geez. I
because
mean,
it's a very similar teaser poster to what Shazam had, and I mean, there's no denying that, but
yeah.
I don't think that's a reason to ransack a movie or a campaign, marketing campaign, if you can even call it that at this point. So
Yeah. No, I just enjoyed the twist on the marketing for Superman and then giving it its own thing. But I agree. I wish Shazam hadn't already done the, leaning back and sipping on a drink situation because yeah, I understand the comparison, but I thought it was a really smart first poster. Lets you know that she's coming. Again, very different attitude than Superman. So I was really excited to see it. I thought it was a smart marketing move to drop that now.
and personally, and I think I pointed this out to you, if you zoom in on her right hand, it sure looks like she's got blood on her knuckles. So
Yeah, she's been scrapping somewhere with Lobo, maybe.
very well could be.
Yeah. Well, exciting times. Superman's out there. Still don't know if I'm going to get to see it again, but really enjoyed it when I did, and it's been fun. Again, maybe I'm just hanging out in the right circles, but just lots of positivity around this movie, and I've been enjoying that. I know Brendan feels the same. He even said he's like, "Oh, it's just so nice to be a DC fan this week, where there's a movie out, people like it, it's successful, it's fun to talk about." Like, yeah, it's been a minute since we've had that.
Yeah, I feel like maybe Aquaman might have been the last one.
I mean, it depends on what we're gauging, but yeah. I mean, the Batman was successful, but I didn't see this like outpouring of like positivity and joy coming from the release of that movie. Same thing with Joker. Joker was successful, but it was a very different thing. But as far as like, yeah, like a big fun popcorn movie that, that was DC, that was well received and did well. Yeah, maybe Aquaman is the one that feels the most in line with that.
Yeah, And obviously the Batman and Joker, as you mentioned, very successful. But yeah, joy is not a word I would use in conjunction with either of those two films. But
Right. It was just a
that's
very
just
different
me.
vibe.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And
So,
I still love that first Joker movie, so I'm not going to apologize for that. It's just it's not one that I'm going to watch a few times a year. I might watch it once every year or two, but
mhm.
it's just not one I want to see. Like when Superman comes out, I figure I'll probably watch it. I don't know 3-4 times a year,
Yeah.
just because it's an easy watch. It doesn't drive my nerves. Joker, even though I've seen it numerous times, it grates my nerves a little bit, and sometimes that's not what I want when I'm watching a movie. I just want to relax and
Joker doesn't feel like a, hey, what should I pop on kind of
yeah, yeah,
movie.
yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, I have a big flight coming up. And so I'm going to be on the plane for many, many hours. And so I downloaded both Aquaman movies, both Wonder Woman movies, Blue Beetle. Like, the hype around Superman has made me want to revisit some of those other DC movies that I haven't watched in a minute that, again, are just fun and joyful and awesome. So I'm looking forward to doing that. So the hype of Superman has gotten me in the mood to revisit a bunch of other DC movies.
Now, has there, again, I don't follow the news as closely, so half the time when I'm on this show anymore is when I get my news updates. Uh, has there been any further update on Blue Beetle's involvement in the current universe?
No, nothing.
But it was mentioned, right?
It was mentioned, it's been a while, but yeah, James Gunn did say that that Blue Beetle is part of this universe, but we just don't know when he's shown back up. There was the announcement of the animated series that was intended to have the same cast doing the voices, but we haven't heard anything about that in a while either. So I had kind of hoped that Blue Beetle would show up in Superman just because I would have enjoyed that. Because that's one of those movies that, like, I liked it when it came out, but the more time I get with it, or since its release, the more I like it. I really love that movie. Um, so yeah, like I'm hoping he shows up sooner than later because I really like that Blue Beetle.
Same.
Anyway, so now let's see what some of the listeners have to say. Thank you to everybody out there for sending in thoughts, questions. There's a lot here, so it'll be fun to get everybody's input on Superman. So,
I'm not drinking alcohol tonight, so hopefully none of these are like where I need to excuse myself and go pour something else into this drink.
well, you never know. I I sometimes screen them depending on how busy I am. So there are ones that I've seen and already read, but there are some that I have not. So we'll see how it goes. The first one comes from Matthew Carey. It says, "Hey, Holy BatCasters, or should I say Supercasters? I just watched an interview from Nerdist with all the cast members from Superman. In it, James Gunn said his favorite comics to read were DC comics from the 90s and early 2000s, and he preferred to read the graphic novels. He specifically called out The Dark Knight Returns and The Long Halloween as two that he loved. With that in mind, what do you think that means for the Batman, the Brave, and the Bold? If James Gunn is using those as inspiration, I'd say we would be thoroughly entertained. But what are your thoughts?" And speaking of comics, it seems that a lot of people are going back to comics while waiting for new Batman content, rereading some older ones, or getting into the current runs. I've been listening to reviews of Batman comics through the decades from the 80s. When I first got into comics as a kid, one of the first ones I ever read was the Batman Annual from 1991, which was part of Armageddon 2001. There's a panel where the Joker dies. It's an image that shocked me when I was a kid, and it's something I can still clearly recall today. Is there a comic panel that's made such an impact on you that it stayed with you through all the years, whether it be haunting, shocking, beautiful, memorable in some way? Looking forward to hearing your thoughts and loving all the content. You make my day at work much better, Matt. Thanks, Matt. Well, first question is James Gunn. He said he loves The Dark Knight Returns and The Long Halloween. Well, join the club, James Gunn.
Join the club, exactly.
But I mean, agreed. They're great. But do you think that means anything for the Brave and the Bold, Jamie?
I think it means that if James Gunn is writing The Brave and the Bold, it's being written by somebody who knows, understands, and loves the character and the stories and everything else. So that bodes well, just like I think it did for Superman, because I feel like his love for that definitely showed in that film that he made for us. So I think if he is indeed the one that's going to handle it, or at the very least hire a guy that he thinks is on that same level and continues to do that more comic booky fantastical approach, yeah, I think we're in good hands. I do say this, and it almost pains me to say it out loud, but I think we could stand a little less influence of the Dark Knight Returns at this point.
I agree. I agree. I
I've
think, yeah,
I've
sorry.
said time and time again that is my favorite fictional story of all time in any medium, but we have other things we can draw from at this point.
Yeah, I'm with you. I I love The Dark Knight Returns. I think it's one of the best Batman stories ever told, but we've certainly gotten a lot of inspiration from it, so it's okay to take a rest. And I, even though James Gunn cited those as some of his favorites, I would not expect story beats from either of them to make their way into The Brave and the Bold, because both of them have been mined pretty well over the past few iterations. But it shows that James Gunn has good taste in Batman stories, which means whether he's writing it himself or working with the writer, which he has said he is, um, at least we know that his Batman sensibilities are taking inspiration from a good place, and I can't wait to hear more through this whole interview circuit that he's been doing with Superman. He gets asked about Batman a lot, and he remains very vague with his answers about Batman. So we're just still sitting here waiting with bated breath to learn more. Um, Bonus points, Matt, for calling out Armageddon 2001. Man, I was obsessed with that crossover into back in 1991. Freaking loved it. So I love that call out. But the question is a comic panel that has stayed with you just for years after years after years, Jamie.
Well, I mean, obviously, I could pull about 50 of them from The Dark Knight Returns, but instead, I've mentioned this before too, I'm sure. It's a Marvel book because I was a huge X-Men fan in the 80s and 90s and still am today. And the very first X-Men book I read was Uncanny X-Men number 211. And to this day, it's still one of my favorite X-Men comics ever because it was right in the middle of the Mutant Massacre. And just this panel is burned into my mind like you would not believe 40 years later. And Shadowcat sacrificed herself, dove in front of Harpoon to save Colossus from taking basically a death hit. And she phased while she was jumping in front of him to try and keep it, to pass through or whatever. But she did it like a fraction of a second too late. So like it hit her right when she was phasing, and it wound up sticking her in the phase process, which actually led directly into the Fantastic Four versus the X-Men, by the way. But Colossus, being as tight as he was with Kitty, was furious about it. So he was going after Harpoon, and Riptide got in front, I think it was Riptide, got in front of him, and he said, nope, you're not going to go that way. And Colossus just grabs him by the neck and crushes him. And then the next panel is like a silhouette of this limp body with Colossus' hand around his throat. And Colossus' eyes are like glowing. And he says something to the effect of, Harpoon, make peace with your gods, little man. You are next.
Oh.
That panel is burned into my head because I think it's fantastic. Great book, by the way. If you've never read it, I highly recommend.
Yeah, I never have.
The Mutant Massacre. It was phenomenal. Great crossover.
Awesome. Well, then I'm going to take your lead and also call out an X-Men. There was an X-Men crossover back in the early 90s when I was, really reading comics constantly, and it was the Extinction Agenda. Do you remember that one?
I do.
But in the
behind the curtain, I just read the whole thing for the first time like 4 years ago.
It's great. I love the Extinction Agenda. But in there, my favorite Marvel character is Gambit. There is a moment where Gambit, like they're fighting a bunch of other heroes, and Gambit is fighting the Marvel hero Gladiator. He's the big guy with the big mohawk. Yep, he's kind of a Superman with the mohawk. And Gladiator is like, don't throw your cards at me. Your cards can't hurt me. And Gambit says, you've only seen what happens when I throw one card. Let's see how you take the whole deck. And he releases the whole deck into him and just blows him across the room. Totally
That
badass.
Seems like a very Gambit thing to do.
Totally badass. So since you were bringing up X-Men moments, that was the one that went to mind. I'm like, just one of a million reasons I love Gambit. But to bring it back to Batman, I could give you plenty of Batman comic panels over the years, many of which I've spoken about in the past. But the one I'll call out that haunts me in an emotional way because I just think it's heartbreaking. It is the panel from Identity Crisis where Batman is holding Tim Drake as Tim Drake sobs in his arms. That
Yeah, that's
one
a good one.
is beautiful but heartbreaking. So that was another one that jumped to mind.
Probably my biggest, again, I'm referencing Dark Knight Returns, but there are so many panels in there, but like the one that sticks out to me the most from that was after the Joker and he have their final showdown in that tunnel of love, and Batman spits on it.
Yeah.
Like I just for some reason I've always loved that. Like, that one final goodbye to that. Sometimes you just have those opponents that really respect each other. But in this case, it was Batman just giving that final goodbye. You might as well have just given him the middle finger as you spit on him too. It's strong panel there.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
since we're turning into Holy XCast, now I got to do you remember Executioner's Song, which I think was the big follow up after Extinction Agenda, or not too
Yeah.
long
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a panel at the end of that crossover. It's actually a couple of panels, so now I'm really cheating. But this is another one that's always stood out very strongly to me because I thought it was brilliant. Because Professor X was trying to tell Sam from X Force, Cannonball, do things our way, not your way. Our way is the open hand, not the closed fist. And at the end of that book, they're having another conversation, and Sam says it's the perspective of what it's going to be used for. He says the open hand, and he swings at Professor X with an open hand, and Professor X catches his wrist, but he gets the point. And he says, with his other hand, he says, sometimes the open hand can, do harm, and sometimes the closed fist can do good. And he opens up his hand, and he's got like a mouse or something in his hand that he's protecting inside of the closed fist. So I really thought that was a strong moment there too.
Oh, all right. Very cool. Awesome. Well, there you go. Thank you, Matt. Something I just remembered, Jamie, so help me remember, is during our Superman review, we did not share the listener rankings of the Superman films.
Oh,
So guess what we're going to do at the end of this episode?
I'm going to guess we're going to share the listener rankings of the Superman films.
You are correct. So help me remember. I just remembered it as we were chatting. I was like, oh, crap. That was on the to-do list. Now it would feel terrible if I forgot 2 episodes in a row. So anyway, that aside, let's move on to the next email. This is from Cormac. It says, hey guys, I'm a huge fan of the show. I've been listening since lockdown, and you guys are definitely one of the most underrated shows out there. My question is, with the Batman Part 2 script being finished and a Brave and the Bold announcement expected any time now, what villains would you like to see in both films? Ooh, Cormac, that is a really good question. But I'm going to let Jamie go first. So, Jamie, you get to pick the villains for the Batman Part 2 and for the Brave and the Bold.
Okay. Brave and the Bold. Let's see. What do I want from Brave and the Bold? Well, you have Damien involved, so I think you could very easily get a Ra's al Ghul in there.
Mm-hmm.
Which, Ra's is my boy, so the more the better on that.
And Lawrence Fishburne ain't doing much.
I'm
He's
saying,
around.
the John Wick movies have kind of calmed down now. He can step away from that and come right
Yep.
into the
Yep.
part, just like it should have been in the first place.
Ana de Armas could be Talia.
Hang on. Hang on. Hang on.
I love it. I love the 3D audio experience of Jamie's wallet.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Holy cow. Now I'll never be able to get that out of my head. Yeah, I mean, Roz would be the one I'd look for most in Brave and the Bold, but at this point, I'll pretty much take whatever they're going to give me. Reeves, I would be a little bit more selective about, just because knowing what his sensibilities are, there are certain ones that I think would work just fine, and there are certain ones I think, ooh, I'm not sure how we're going to approach that. So, somebody like a Zaz, Joker. I mean, at this point, I wouldn't mind seeing. I'm going to probably butcher his name, so don't at me with this. But Barry Keoghan, was that who they?
Yeah.
Okay.
You did all right.
I'll see his Joker. I'd be interested in his take. but the more less fantastical villains, I don't want to see his take on a Mr. Freeze or Clayface. I guess you can kind of play both sides of the fence with, but I don't know. I feel like a more grounded villain is who I really want working in that world versus him trying to ground a villain that's not necessarily grounded to start with. You see what I'm saying?
Yep, I do. Well, yeah, I guess I'll start with the Batman Part 2. I say go Court of Owls because
That works. Yeah.
with the first film already set up this some of the secrets of the rich and elite of Gotham. That's already part of that universe. It was set up in the first film, and even from what I watched of the Penguin, it was sort of woven in there too. So I feel like Court of Owls is a nice something new, something unique, something we haven't seen in a movie before, but also I feel like would fit into that world pretty seamlessly. They don't necessarily have to go the zombie route with the Talons. As long as the Talons are assassins of some sort, you could still do it. And I think that would be a nice way to do something different and differentiate. My first thought is Harvey Dent, because they killed the DA in the first The Batman, but I'm like, well, then we're just continuing to follow beats from the Dark Knight trilogy. So I don't know if Two-Face is the way to go. I think like let's make a turn and do something unique, and so that's why I landed on Court of Owls. For The Brave and the Bold, yes, Roz makes a lot of sense because of Damian, but I'm still waiting for a cinematic redemption for Mr. Freeze, and I think that would work much better in The Brave and the Bold.
I'm in with whatever. Yeah.
All right. Cool. Okay, well, next email. This is from Ron Messbarger. It says, hey, Supercast family, I hope you're well. I have a show idea for you. He says, first, I'm an agent of chaos. Rank your top 15 personal favorite DC superheroes. All right, Ron. Okay. I don't think that's that chaotic. I could do that. I don't think,
15 seems like a lot. I'd have to put some work in at the tail end, but I can rattle off my top 3 right freaking now with no issue.
Go ahead.
Batman, Superman, Hal Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that hard. I'd go.
And that's easy for me to remember because those are my 3 favorite superheroes, period.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'd go Batman, Robin, Green Lantern as well. So maybe that's spoilers if we ever do the episode. But yeah, I mean, like the top, that, right? You already know. You're listening to Holy BatCast. But it would be fun. Maybe that's why you go 15 is because there are going to be a lot more randos in there woven in. So it would be fun, Ron. I'm going to add it to the list. Thank you for the idea. All right. Again, I should reiterate, I said it at the beginning, I'll say it again. We are just talking spoilers. You have been warned. This message is from Ralph Richards. It says, how did this happen again? Damn you, James Gunn. Haha, kidding, of course. In all seriousness, the movie gave me a lifetime memory. And what he's talking about is the subject line of his email, which is Power Suit Toy Duped Again.
That was another thing I meant to mention, and I forgot about it because I'm focused way more on the positives that I like than the disappointments or the shucks.
I mean, I mentioned it to you in the text, and you're like, "Oh my god, you're right." So it's a good sign that it wasn't on your mind in the movie. That means the movie didn't
I believe my response to that, and it's true, is I didn't even think about that until I was like almost 3/4 of the way home from that first viewing.
Yeah,
he wasn't in the power suit.
Yeah.
And, and even then I was like, well, next time, I guess.
These damn toys.
Yep.
Anyway, he said,
can't trust a toy. It's like Haywood Banks says, never trust a puppet. DC fan says, never trust a toy.
Ain't that the truth? Anyway, Ralph said, this is why I have a lifetime memory. I got to take my 5-year-old son to see his very first superhero movie in theaters. It's a moment we'll both remember forever. Did I spend way too much on the crypto popcorn bucket? Absolutely. But it was worth every penny just to see the excitement in his eyes. Quick review, Gunn absolutely crushed it. He delivered a full-on family Superman movie. Funny, heartfelt, and even dark in spots, but it all blended perfectly into the ultimate comic book movie experience. I can't wait to see where this new universe goes next, and Superman was the perfect way to kick it off. But hey, don't just take my word for it. Hear it from the real target audience, the kids. Hope everyone else had as much fun watching it as we did. And he attached a photo of his adorable 5-year-old son in his Superman outfit, holding his crypto toys, standing in front of the poster. Super cool.
Outstanding.
And he did provide us an audio clip here. So if you give me a second, I will bring this up because he gave me permission. So I guess this is the target audience that we have heard so much about. All right, Ralph, here we go.
Wait. All right, ready, Reed? Tell me, what did you think about Superman?
It was good
What was your favorite part?
when he went to that place.
What place?
That big place made out of ice
The
and
Fortress of Solitude?
stuff.
Yeah? So
Yeah.
you really liked it? It's the first superhero movie you've ever seen at a movie theater.
Yes.
And what did you think?
It was amazing.
Oh my God, did you have so much fun?
Yes.
What did you get there?
I got this.
What's
I
that?
got it's a popcorn basket, and I got a stuffy and got one for Jude.
What does the stuffy look like? Who is it?
It's trying to figure out.
What's his name?
Crypto.
Yep.
Crypto.
And what's your popcorn bucket's name?
It's Crypto.
Wow. So what would you say, how much did you love this movie?
All of it.
How much?
100.
Wow, 100? All right,
Yeah.
cool.
That's very cool, Ralph. Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm glad that you and your son had that amazing memory. I love it.
You can't see it because this is an audio format, but I was smiling the entire time I was listening to that because I have a lot of those memories with my kids too, man, and they are ones that will last forever. That's amazing. Awesome.
Yep. Super cool. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and the special review. Very cool. All right, next email here is from Joshua. It says, "Hey, Andy, Brendan, and Jamie, if you two were on this episode." They're not, they're fighting. It says, "I wanted to let you three know that I've watched Superman and I had a really great time with the film. My review is non-spoiler for the folks who weren't able to watch it yet. It's indeed the comic book Superman movie adaptation that I've been waiting for. The ability of filmmaking James Gunn used to carry the production pre, present, and post was handled really carefully with a lot of love for the character. I'm a person who, ever since I was a child, looks up to superhero movies and superhero cinema to learn what they would do in order to handle certain situations and struggles in life. Looking back as an adult, certain movies hit differently and more seriously. This movie, however, makes me feel like I'm a kid reading comic book splash pages. Every cinematic angle feels like a purely drawn comic book panel. The tone and the scale of the story gave me a fun style that was balanced out with sincerity. David Cornsweet portrayed Superman in a way I've been looking for a long time. It's the Superman movie the world needs in order to look up, see what I did there, for hope, courage, and a way to move forward. When times are tough and we can't escape our demons or don't know how to face the struggles, this movie will be there for all of us. Hearing the script portrayed by David, Rachel, and Nicholas really gave me ideas that I would like to tell my younger self. The rest of the cast was incredible. I've been wanting a Mr. Terrific project since his Arrowverse debut. At the same time, the movie is fun, funny, and Crypto is a great dog. I could talk more about the movie, but I don't want to make the email too long. I can't wait to see it again. I had the biggest smile after I left the theater. I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you for reading, Joshua." Thank you, Joshua, and thank you for sharing your spoiler-free thoughts of the film. Sounds like you loved it, and I really love that you found it inspiring and something that you can look back on as you move forward, face challenges. Like I said in the last review, I really love that speech that Superman gives at the end about, you get up, you do your best, you put your one foot in front of the other, and you try to make the best choices you can. And it's something we all do every single day. And it's good to remember that, Superman has to do the same thing, and that's okay.
Yep. I don't think I have anything to add. I think that was all very well said by both of you.
All right. Great. Next email is from our old pal, Tom Fallows. It says, "Hey guys, I really enjoyed your Batman Begins commentary. When listening, I noticed a trend that Nolan started with Begins, burning down Wayne Manor. For 20 years now, every director has burnt it down. The League of Shadows in Batman Begins, the Joker or whoever in the Snyderverse, the Riddler in the Batman. Do you think Gunn will follow suit, or will he have Wayne Manor? Also, Gunn's spoken about Batman in the new universe and how he shouldn't be used because he's Batman and the best, but because they have something different to say. Do you think that should extend to the Joker as well? Do you think we need a break from him? I mean, there was a good 20 years between Jack and Heath, and in 20 years, we've had a lot of Jokers. If there's a trilogy for Batman, should Joker be a supporting villain or a final villain in the last movie? Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed Superman. Tom Vallows. Thanks, Tom. So the first point is so valid. And I didn't even realize that it's been a really long time since Wayne Manor didn't get destroyed. So, yes.
Well, to be fair, Nolan did rebuild it.
He did.
The third
he
movie,
did.
So.
Absolutely. We did have Wayne Manor in Rises, so it did come back, but it got burnt down in Begins. It was MIA in The Dark Knight, and it was finally rebuilt in Rises. And then, yes, it was destroyed in the Snyderverse, and it was just a burnt out husk sitting there. We got to go inside, but ain't nobody living there. And then, yeah, it was also burnt down and destroyed in the Batman. So,
was that really Wayne Manor, or was that more of his penthouse in central Gotham, though?
What? Oh, that's the one that blows up. But remember, Wayne Manor is all decrepit in the Batman.
Is it? Okay.
Which is why he's living in the penthouse in Gotham.
Okay. It's been a minute since I've watched it. So.
Same. But I remember there's the scene where they go to Wayne Manor and there's like graffiti on the walls, right? And that's when he's like investigating his dad, right?
Was that Wayne Manor?
I thought it was, but...
Well, it was supposed to be some kind of an orphanage, but is that what they did with Wayne Manor, is turned it into an orphanage?
Oh, I don't know. I might be getting my lines crossed. I thought Wayne Manor was destroyed in the Batman. It's been a minute since I've watched it. So I'm sure someone's going to tell me. And
now's the perfect time to switch this whole format to Holy XCast, because clearly we're not big enough Batman fans to call it Holy BatCast anymore.
Well, anyway, regardless, the point is this: Wayne Manor was in Rises, but prior to that, it's been destroyed more than it has been. Do you think Gunn will follow suit? I'll just say, I don't think so, and I hope not. I want Wayne Manor and the Batcave under it.
I think that's what we're going to get.
Yeah. And then as for Gunn's comments about Batman, so he wants to make sure he has something new to say about the character. Totally get that. And then, but what do you think that means for the Joker? Should he have something new to say? Do you think they should save the Joker? Do you think we need a Joker break, Jamie?
I wouldn't be opposed to a Joker break, but I also wouldn't be opposed to somebody doing more like an animated series Joker versus the Nolan, or what would most likely be the Reeves version. I'm not disinterested in Reeves' version. I think it could be very well done, but I also would very much like to see the Clown Prince of Crime.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm good either way. But I don't think we need more of what the same that we've gotten in more recent years.
Yeah, I think that's it. And I've said similar things in the past where I'm like, you know what would be a new take on the Joker? And frankly, Batman is comic book or BTAS Joker in live action. That would be a new take. We've not seen that since arguably 1989. Even that, I think, not quite. So yeah, the Joker is the Joker. I don't think we need to leave him out of the game for 20 more years, but man, like give me a Joker right off the page. And that will be more than enough to differentiate from the Jokers we've seen in the past 20 years. So, yeah. All right. Let's move on to the next message from our pal Jim Scroggs. It says, hey guys, I know you've done a ton of top 10 or top 5 lists of things that you love about Batman, but what about a list of the things you hate or strongly dislike? What would those be, Jim? Thanks, Jim. Well, I know I've teased it in the past. I want to do a hot takes episode. They don't necessarily have to be negative hot takes. They can also be positive hot takes, but I do want to do that. So this might be part of that. But like doing a whole episode of stuff I hate, that just sounds like not fun.
Spoilers, bat hangers is number 1.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I feel like it would just be such a negative episode and I don't want to do that. But I mean, yes, like off the top of your head, bat hangers for you.
Yeah.
I mean, I've said it in the past. What I hate is this more modern interpretation where Batman's always kind of an a-hole, and I just feel like we've lost the thread of Batman being a hero. And so that's something that bugs me is when people write Batman to be just a jerk.
To give it its credit where it's due, the Batman, Reeves Batman, definitely ended on a tone where the next movie could lead into that. That's why I'm actually really interested to see what that second movie brings about.
I said it before, that's my favorite thing about that movie is that's, Batman's arc in that movie. But yeah, like I just, I've had enough of a-hole Batman. Give me hero Batman again. Yes, he's not perfect. He's certainly flawed, but he's still a hero. So that's a larger, more philosophical thing that bothers me. But I love Batman because he is a hero and he's trying to make the world a better place. And I feel like in the coolness and darkness of Batman, that has gotten lost.
I see where you're coming from with it. I appreciate the grittier Batman, even though I kind of want to lighten it up a little bit in the cinematic universe now. Not a ton. I don't need a 180-degree pivot on that, but I see where you're coming from, and to an extent, I agree with you.
So, all right. Well, I mean, other things I strongly dislike. I nothing else. Totally, Damian Wayne. I dislike Damian Wayne. He should have stayed dead. How about that? How do you like them apples?
Damian was an acquired taste for me. I had a lot of struggles with Damian, but after reading some of the Rebirth comics when I was really deep into getting singles every week, Damian grew on me. I really think particularly Gleason and Tomasi did a nice job with the Super Sons comic, and I thought that was fantastic. So I softened up on Damian a lot during that.
I know. I mean, I have too. Once I realized he wasn't going anywhere, but I still, it's like, well, I'm over him. Damian and Jason Todd both should have stayed dead in one grave. 2 cuts, 1 hole.
I ever tell you that the advisor at my comic book shop when I was still going, he had a shirt one day. I absolutely lost my mind when I saw it. It said, "I killed Jason Todd," and all I got was this lousy T-shirt because I were 2 of the people that called in to give him the axe. I thought that was absolutely amazing.
Good. All right. Well, a next email here is from Weston Craig. It says, Andy, Jamie, and Brendan. I ended up really liking Superman. I stressed myself out like I do before every big DC movie even when I know better. Guy Gardner was the definite standout for me. Spoiler warning if you haven't seen it, but it looks like there is possibly a mural of the JSA at the Hall of Justice. Do you think that Maxwell Lord funded the building? Do you think the cubes in the pocket dimensions are meant to be a nod to Bizarro World? And how do you feel about this new live-action DC universe now that you've seen Superman? What do you want to see more of, and what would you like to see changed? Thanks, Weston. Thanks, Weston. I'm glad you love the movie. I understand the stress that comes before the release of a DC movie. We have lived through too much, Weston. It's been a rough go, and I get it. But we're in this together. So yes, I feel you. The mural of the JSA in the Hall of Justice. Funny you should mention, because today James Gunn actually posted photos of it. There were a lot of characters I did not recognize and quite a few that I did. It's quite the collection. Did you see this, Jamie?
I just scanned through it real quick. I didn't do a lot of focus to it because I was doing other things while I was dinking around on my phone. So I did see the one with oh God, why can't Wildcat? I saw that one.
Yeah, Wildcat's in there. I'm looking now, and yeah, like I said, a bunch of these characters I do not know. They're pretty deep cuts. Sandman is in here. I recognize that one. There's one that looks like Mandrake the Magician, but I don't think it's Mandrake because that's a different company. But there's one that looks like Adam Strange. Buona Beast is in here. That's cool. Wildcat's in here. Vibe is in here. And then Maxwell Lord is in here. So yeah, a bunch of them I do not recognize. There's a speedster that looks familiar, but I don't know his name. Sorry, I'm gonna get judged. But yeah, a bunch of these are deep cuts that I do not know, but I recognize some.
I'm not a big JSA guy. I mean, I know a couple of them and more modern iterations, but like if you want me to tell you JSA history, I'm probably going to flunk that test. So
Yeah, for sure. So it's very cool. There's some deep cuts in there, but I would expect no less from James Gunn. Do you think Maxwell Lord funded the building? Yeah, I would think so. Because didn't
he's
we?
funding the Justice Gang,
Yeah,
so that
right.
seems likely.
Yeah, totally makes sense. Oh, that was something we forgot to talk about in our review is the amazing performance by Sean Gunn as Maxwell Lord.
Yeah, for all 10 seconds he was on the screen.
For the one line of dialogue. Anyway, sorry. The cubes in the Pock dimension were meant as a nod to Bizarro World. I don't think so. I didn't think of that. Did you, Jamie?
It didn't cross my mind, but I mean, if that's indeed where Ultraman winds up at the end, I mean, anything's possible, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
That's the beauty of doing things in a comic book fashion is you can make any of this stuff mean and translate into whatever the hell you want for the next time around.
Yeah, didn't even think of that, but you're right. They could, maybe that is what they were going for. And then finally, the big question: how are you feeling about the new live action DC universe, and what would you want to see more of, and anything you'd like to see change, Jamie?
Feeling very optimistic about it, as I mentioned in my review, and I think we're all in agreement here. This is the universe, the right movie to start this universe, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's a perfect movie. It's not even my favorite Superman movie, but I think it's a very, very, very good movie. And I think it is the perfect start for this new universe, setting the tone for what's going to come. So I'm feeling very, very optimistic about what's coming from now on. What do I want to see more of? Everything. Maybe less James Gunn humor, but everything else.
Well, okay, since you bring that up, I guess that's what you want to see less of. But you did mention that briefly. What were the jokes that didn't work for you?
So I feel like he was pretty good about restraining, but there were just a couple of moments like the I think I talked with this in the group chat with Eric and Joe and Brendan, but the middle finger with Green Lantern. I think
yeah.
If it would have been like 4 or 5 of the hand swipes and then the last one was a middle finger, fine. But like having every other one be the middle finger during that sequence, I thought was a little overkill. This didn't bother me, but I mean, was it really necessary? The garage door opening for Mr. Perfect's ship? Because I knew exactly where the joke was going to go. Yeah, and I can't stand jokes that take so long to set up and you know where they're going to go. And then they they pay off exactly the way you think they're going to. And it's just like, that was 30 seconds that we could have done something else with, Mm-hmm. So I'm not like throwing rotten fruit at the screen because of what I saw in this movie, but there were just some things that I thought were, okay, James, we get it. Move along,
All right. Nope. That's fair enough. Well, I agree with you. I really love the universe that we have been introduced to from this film. It is a universe where I feel like the entire DC universe can exist here, and that's what I wanted, and then that feels like what we got. So I'm really optimistic about it. I love what's been set up. I think that there are a million places you can go from here, and that's really exciting, and I'm excited about that. So what do I want more of? I want more of that. I want to see more of this universe, and I want to see more of the heroes and villains that inhabit this universe. We got the Hall of Justice, as my co-host so eloquently put.
The Motor Scootin' Hall of Justice.
The Mother Scootin' Hall of Justice. This is a universe where we could have the Legion of Doom in that Darth Vader head in the swamp. Like, that feels like it could exist in this world, and I'm here for it.
My wallet's over there on the floor. Would you mind getting it for me and handing it to me so I can throw it again?
Yes, you could. So yeah, like now we've met this Superman. I love this Superman. I love this Metropolis. I like his world. I want what this Batman's world looks like. Obviously, come on, it's still Holy BatCast. And I want Wonder Woman's corner of this universe too. Let's get the Trinity up there. And they announced, speaking of all of the things that have been happening after the release of Superman, they've announced that Anna Navarro, who wrote Supergirl and she's writing Teen Titans, is now writing a Wonder Woman film. So Wonder Woman is now back on the table. Great. Give me that. I want to, now that I love this new Superman, I want the Trinity. And again, it's silly that we have to keep saying it, but that is in no way a negative commentary on the last Trinity we got in film, because I freaking love them. But I'm ready to see the Trinity in this universe. So let's start there and see how we continue. Anything I would like to see changed? Not yet. It's so early. We've only gotten one movie in this universe, and for me, it worked. It was great. Had a great time. So for now, there's nothing I want to see changed other than I want a little more urgency with getting Batman in this universe.
I'll co-sign that, but the other thing I guess I'll throw out, and I don't feel like this took away from my enjoyment of the movie, but sometimes the needle drop sequences, like, and the one that's sticking in my mind right now was Mr. Terrific having Lois inside the bubble and dealing with the goons, as it were, and playing that music while it was going on. The style of that, I think, is just, I don't know. It's not for me. I'm not going to say it doesn't work for everybody and it needs to be changed, because I can live with it, but it's just like not me. I could stand less of that, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. That's fair. All right, let's move forward. We still have a bunch more. This is from Lloyd Wabbit. It says, "Hey, super friends. What a beautiful time to be a DC fan. Sure, James Gunn's Superman didn't hit all the marks, but boy, oh, when it soars, it really soars. What dizzying heights. Doesn't quite have the emotional depth of Superman and Lois, which I still think is the best Superman content we've gotten since the Diniverse, but Corn Sweat and Brosnahan sure are alluring as DC's top couple. Does anyone else see a young Brendan Fraser in certain angles of Corn Sweat's sculpted jawline? I'm writing to ask your opinion regarding the music and score in regards to Superman. In my humble opinion, I feel that Superman is most enhanced by his score, even more so than his Dark Knight counterpart. Take Superman and Lois' exceptional score by Dan Romer. The orchestral swells in Who I Was Meant to Be, paired alongside the dynamic, almost Steve Reich-like movement of A Simple Life, make the godlike character of Superman feel grounded and accessible, effectively emphasizing his innate humanity. I felt Gunn's Superman lacked some of this dynamic scoring, relying too heavily on James Gunn's habitual Spotify usage rather than hiring an experienced composer to really sonically articulate the characterization. He hits close with the Lex Luthor theme that has the delayed snare and bass, and we briefly experience it when we see the Daily Planet for the first time. However, the reuse of the John Williams theme paired with Gunn's budding "I'm so punk, take that mom and dad" music taste may have actually handcuffed the movie in the long run. Andy, I know you're a big movie score kind of guy. What do you think? To my dear men of tomorrow, I bid thee farewell, Lloyd Wabbit. Thanks, Lloyd. Well, I'm glad you really love the movie. An interesting question about the music and the score. Funny that Jamie just brought that up as something that he wasn't crazy about with the Mr. Terrific scene. And on the spoiler review, I said one of my nitpicks is using that pop punk song of Punk Rocker for the ending instead of the beautiful score, which a lot of people are really digging that song, and I love that for them. I don't hate the song. I just would have preferred score as well. But what I will say as a score whore, the score that is here, I love it. I love the score that they put together for this film. I loved the Lex Luthor theme. I love the Daily Planet theme. I love the reworking of the Williams theme. And then there's also something of a unique Superman theme in there as well. And for me, like the beautiful emotional theme, which, what is it, Last Sun, I think is the name of the track, is really great too. So I understand the comments about James Gunn really loving his needle drops, his his pop punk songs. And for me in the movie, they're not my favorite things about the movie, but I think at least there's only two of them, I guess. I really love the score. For me, it really works. And so, I think they just lean into that more personally. Jamie?
So I've heard some people say, the score was unmemorable, or, not up to the par with like Williams or Zimmer. And, I guess, but when I was watching it the first time and the second time, both, I really enjoyed the score in the movie. And even more so, just listening to the score, driving around in my car or at work or things like that. I actually was listening to it last week while I was playing a pickleball game, and it just was like pumping me up for it. I think it's a terrific score. Mm-hmm. Is it as good as those other ones that we have to judge it against? I don't think it is, but I don't think it's so far behind those that it deserves to be, kicked under a rug somewhere. I think it's a very, very good score. I really like it a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. I agree. And the more I've listened, the more I liked it. I think it's great. Give it some more time, Lloyd. And yeah, I was happily impressed with it, especially because the two composers are not ones that I am particularly familiar with. And for me, the music is just so important. But as far as I'm concerned, in this movie, it worked.
Speaking of movie scores, you know what I listened to when I was playing pickleball today?
Twister.
Tron Legacy.
All right, that's a good one too. All right, next email. Buckle in, Jamie.
Uh-oh.
Get ready. This is a review from Tyler Kloster of Superman. Dear Holy BatCast. Now that's more like it. Tyler.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Tyler, brevity is the soul of wit. And you win. You win the day. You win, Tyler. Best email of the day. Congratulations. 100 cool points. Love it. I'm glad you enjoyed Superman, and God bless you for keeping it succinct.
Damn it, man. You actually had me shifting in my seat for that one, too.
Oh, really? Good. Well, here comes one from Chris, the Objective Geek. No, not yet.
Lord.
Chris, we love you. I'm just kidding. Anyway, next
we
one.
do love you, Chris, but man, sometimes you hearing your name just gets me a little tense because I know some of those questions are not going to be easy to answer.
Just keeping you on your toes. All right. This one is from James Warney. It says, "Hey, Holy BatCast crew. Hopefully this reaches you on Superman weekend. I want to share a short story with you. Hopefully not too long, but here goes. Last week, I surprised my 11-year-old son with the battle-damaged Superman McFarlane figure. As I'm setting it up to look as if he's hovering in the sky and making sure that his cape looks ever so majestic, I begin to raise the figure from my lap as if he's floating away from me. My son tells me to stop and grabs my phone, tells me to wait 1 second, and then he tells me to start lifting it up again. As I begin to lift him up, he plays at the perfect moment the song Starman by David Bowie. I felt like I was in a movie just holding the figure. And with tears welling up in my eyes like a proud dad would in this moment, my wife starts laughing and looks over at us both and says, "Oh my God, he's your effing twin." I know if anyone would enjoy the story, it would be you guys. Can't wait for your spoiler review of Superman. P.S. It's July, and that means it's just about time for pumpkin spice everything. That's very cool, James. Last item first. Yes, it is. I got some pumpkin spice K-Cups just the other day from Target. So, yeah, away we go.
I've got pumpkin spice cheese sitting in my fridge right now.
Yeah.
Right now.
All right. Attaboy. As for the story, James, that is awesome. I totally feel you. Like when your kids do something cute or sweet or something that reminds you of you, where you're like, oh my God, that's my kid. Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm a crier. I'm a feeler, and I cry way too much looking at my two damn kids because I love them so much. So how cool that, yeah, your son got in on that Superman fun, and thank you for sharing. I love it.
I love those moments with the kids because it gives me hope that the geek gene pool will stay nice and deep going forward into the future.
Yep. Very cool. All right. Next email is from Connor. It says, "Hey, Holy BatCast team. I saw Superman yesterday and I really enjoyed it. I think it's a solid start to the DCU and it really sets up Superman's world and a potential proto Justice League. However, there's one thing in the movie that was missing. I thought we were going to finally see Lex in his purple and green war suit. His henchmen even wore similar suits, so it wouldn't have been out of place to have Lex wearing a bigger, more advanced suit and fighting Superman himself for the climax. Do you think they could be saving that for a potential Legion of Doom movie? Love the podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed the movie as much as I did. Connor." Thanks, Connor. I'm going to let Jamie get this one first because, leading up to the release, that was what Jamie was asking for most.
I've been asking for it for, a long time, but it was one of my favorite things going back to the superpowers era of the animated show. But the same thought occurred to me. If you're going to do a Legion of Doom, there are going to be some characters that you're not going to be able to have like on a battlefield standing toe to toe against some of these godlike DC heroes. So yeah, that would make sense for Lex's power suit to come about in that fashion. I did think about that. That did occur to me a couple days after watching the movie. But, again, the biggest praise I can give to the movie is, did I want a power suit? Hell yes, I wanted it. Did I walk out of that movie throwing a fit because I didn't get it? Sure didn't.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Jamie. I would love to see it. I was really hoping we would see it. Within the movie itself, I was like, you know what? I'm okay, but I still hope to see it in the future, whether it be in a Superman sequel or a Justice League movie or a Legion of Doom, whatever. They certainly laid the seeds, so it would be very easy to make it happen, and I'm still holding out hope that it will. All right, we're going to take a slight break from Superman and talk about Batman Begins again. So this email is from Carrie Vanderberg about our Batman Begins commentary. It says, thank you for the wonderful Batman Begins commentary. I rewatched the film about a month prior, not realizing the 20th anniversary was coming up, but I watched along with you guys anyway. I wanted the full experience. I didn't follow the film's development, having only watched the trailer about a month or so before release, not knowing a new Batman movie was even in the works. I left the theater saying that might be better than Batman 89. I don't know, is that even possible? After The Dark Knight, it was settled. Begins is the definitive Batman origin story. Bale is my favorite Batman actor, and the Tumbler is my favorite Batmobile. Bale and Nolan figured out the three-part personality of Bruce Wayne: public, private, and in the suit, which is something the previous films never got. The fact that the Tumbler could drive very fast, plow through walls, and make instant sharp turns for real instead of just movie magic also made it my favorite. They made Bruce an interesting character on his own, so I wasn't counting the minutes before we saw him in the suit. I love the practical explanation for the pieces of the suit and the technology, especially the cape. I love that Chicago becomes a stand-in for Gotham in The Dark Knight, which started in Batman Begins. It makes Gotham feel more real and lived in. While Keaton and Batman the Animated Series were my definitive take on Batman in my childhood, Nolan's trilogy made it the definitive take on Batman for adulthood. Begins got me excited to see Batman back on the big screen, and then The Dark Knight reignited my love for comics and superheroes as a whole, even though I had already been a fan of the Spider-Man and X-Men films. It's also funny how, for me, Star Wars ended with Revenge of the Sith just about a month prior, and I wondered what franchise would fill in that gap for me. Between Nolan's trilogy and the MCU, that gap became filled. Just wanted to share my thoughts and response. All the best to you and your families, Carrie. Thanks, Carrie. Very cool. And I love celebrating these anniversaries because it dredges up these old memories of like going back and your hype or not hype of going in to see Batman Begins for the first time or whatever movie we're talking about. It's just fun. It brings you right back to those feelings. And I mean, I had the same exact feeling walking out of Begins in 2005 of like, oh my God, like they nailed it. Holy shit. Did they do this better than all the other movies? They might have. And yeah, Begins is freaking great. And you're right. The whole trilogy is great, but yeah, what a ride that was for those years from 2005 to 2012. So thanks for sharing.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to explain even more of this gray hair on my head, it dawned on me early when we were talking about it, but The Dark Knight Returns turns 40 next year.
Oh, cool. Fun. I guess you're right. We never reviewed the animated version, did we?
I'm willing to do it again if we did.
I don't think we ever did. I remember reviewing the book, and I swear it was with Jay Oz.
Yes, it was.
But I don't think we've ever done the animated version, so maybe that's what
I think the discussion came up about it. If memory serves, and my memory is not what it once was, but if memory serves, we thought, oh, it'll have an anniversary next year, so we'll talk about it then. And I think it just kind of fell underneath the cracks, and we never got back around to it.
Yeah, that sounds right. All right, let's move forward. Next email is from Edward. It says, hey guys, thanks for the fantastic podcast. Whether I'm driving to work, at work, or just taking a nice long walk in the park, you guys are always great to listen to. I feel very much the same way you guys did about Superman. I really liked it. I'm not sure I could say I loved it. The cast was great, and I really enjoyed the comic book nature of it. My only complaint is I wish there'd been more chance for some characters and scenes to breathe. If it is true that there are deleted scenes, I'd love to see an extended release someday. You mentioned on the podcast the film did not go out of its way to set up anything else, and while I mostly agree with you, I must disagree when it comes to the Supergirl cameo. The reason she enters drunk and Superman gives that exposition about her partying on other planets with Red Sun is because that is how Woman of Tomorrow, the comic they're adapting, starts. It begins with Supergirl and Krypto in an alien bar on a planet with a red sun where she's getting drunk on her birthday. Therefore, it's a direct setup. It's a really interesting comic, and I, for one, am intrigued to see how it will be adapted for the screen. Done right, I feel like it could be a lot of fun and very emotional. Finally, I wanted to mention a theory about the post-credit scene with Superman and Mr. Terrific staring at the wall, which has not quite been lined up. My first thought is this a hint that the universe and reality have not been lined up quite right? And if so, would this have something to do with the overall story that Gunn is telling in the DCU? I'm probably reading too much into a short comedic scene, or perhaps it's the Doctor Who fan in me coming out, as it sounds like something that show would do. Whatever the case, thanks for the show and keep up the good work, Edward. Thanks, Edward, and thank you for sharing. All right, first things first, the deleted scenes. I mean, obviously, I agree with you about, I just wish there'd have been a little bit more of those quiet moments. I said it in the review. You seem to agree. I know that Eric and On the Fire Rises said the same thing. So I feel like we all feel the same. I'd love an extended edition. I'm not holding my breath. I feel like it's been a minute since we've gotten something like that. But yeah, I would love it too. Jamie?
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way as you. If there's one out there, would I take it? Sure. Do I expect it or need it? Nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
I agree with what you say about, letting moments breathe, getting a little more time maybe with the kids, with the planet folk, stuff like that. Sure, I would have taken a 3-hour version of this movie, but I think they made the right business choice in making, what this thing clock in at, like 206 or something like that?
207, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think they made a good business decision, and I think they made a very coherent movie in what they presented. I don't think anything is missing out of there that needed to be there to truly make it the movie that it was. I think that it was. I think it was a good enough choice. Would I have taken more? Sure. You give me a 6-hour version of this movie, I'll probably watch it.
So. Right. Yeah. That's the nice thing about a movie you love is you're like, yeah, I'll always take more. So for sure. Same thing here. I think it's more likely we'll get a couple of those scenes as deleted scenes as extras on, the Blu-ray and digital release and all that stuff. The Supergirl cameo setting up her movie. Yes. I maybe I felt like that went without saying because yes, but you're right for sure. And then the post-credit scene with Superman and Mr. Terrific. Well, James Gunn has explicitly said, he goes, it's not there to set up anything. He doesn't want to use mid or post-credit scene the way Marvel does, which is to set up whatever's coming next, which is why the Supergirl setup is in the movie itself and not a mid or post-credit scene. So I think the intent of it is just what it is, taken on face value. It's just a funny little scene between he and Mr. Terrific. Although our pal Guy Milks messaged me, Jamie, with a theory about this. He said, I think he said he saw it elsewhere, but he thought it might have been a metaphor for James Gunn trying to patch up the DC universe on film, where it might not be perfect, but it's pretty darn close, or it's close enough. And I was like, I certainly didn't read it that way, but that's a fun interpretation, whether it's real or not.
Yeah, I don't think I would, volley against that or anything, but I think even I never watched that scene and both times I sat there and watched it, and neither time did I watch that scene and think to myself, am I missing something? Is something coming out of this? It felt like Gunn's humor.
Yeah. And I'll admit, I got a good laugh of Superman being like, God, I'm such a jerk. Again, just to go back to the fact that Superman's just like the rest of us. He put his foot in his mouth. How many of us have done that? Never me. Not me. I've always been really good about never doing that. But yeah, I think it's just supposed to be a funny scene.
Yeah. And honestly, it made me roll my eyes the first time. The second time I kind of watched it to make sure that there was nothing I was missing. And now going forward, I don't know that I ever need to watch it again.
That's fair. I will say speaking of like the hype and the conversation around the film that's been happening since it came out, I love how much the world is embracing Mr. Terrific. That makes me so happy.
He was definitely a standout.
He was awesome. Loved him. But it's just cool that we're living in a world where the movie going public is like, I like Mr. Terrific. I mean, hell yeah. I guess, yeah, that's what happened with Rocket Raccoon when the first Guardians came out too. But yeah, I love introducing Mr. Terrific to the masses and people being like, hey, that's a pretty awesome character.
I agree. And, you know, again, I don't have a deep history with Mr. Terrific, but everything that I've seen from him in comics and animation, this lines up perfectly with those. Because,
Yeah.
you know, as I mentioned in my review, I think Guy Gardner was absolutely pitch perfect in this movie. Absolutely perfect. And I think from what I know of him, I think Mr. Terrific was as well.
Yeah, agreed. All right, moving on. Next one, it's from Ron Massbarger again. He says, hey, BatCast family, I had to write in because James Gunn's Superman stirred something in me that I haven't felt since 2017. It gave me that same hope and emotional punch that Wonder Woman did. The pride, the action, the storytelling, it's all on that level for me. I'll admit it, I'm a DC apologist. Hey, it's okay, Ron. I know the feeling.
You're among friends.
We're all in this together. He says, I'll be honest, I was worried this would be another movie that I enjoyed, but I would get told that I'm wrong for liking. Superman gives me hope that I'll finally get to see more of my favorite characters, especially Batman, in true comic book movies that aren't afraid to embrace what makes them special. For the first time in a long time, I feel like I can love these stories without bracing for backlash. Superman reminded me why I'm passionate about this universe, and I'm honestly excited again. Thanks for always giving us a space to share the hype. Thanks, Ron. I love that. I love it. And yes, agreed. It's nice to have a DC movie out there like this that gives you hope and excitement, and you don't have to sheepishly be like, I liked it, which is how I felt a lot in the old universe, is like being in mixed company and people being like, Batman v Superman, and I have to be like, I liked it. Yes, here you don't have to do that, which is good. That's exciting. So enjoy the feeling. You know what? It makes it all worth it, and I love that you're on that high from Superman. That's great.
Yep.
That's it. We got it. We good?
Yep.
Okay, great.
Anything bad? Yeah.
All right. Next message is from Devin Stanley. It says, hey guys, I love the show. I have a question about Superman the character, but not Superman the movie. Sorry. It says, I was rewatching Man of Steel and loving it when I noticed something. They show a shot of Jonathan's headstone, which says his death was in 1997. Assuming Man of Steel takes place in 2013, that means Clark would be around 17 when the infamous tornado scene happened. And that flashback, unlike the others where they have young kids playing Clark, they actually used Cavill, who was a grown man in his 30s. It's hard to believe that a man in his 30s would just watch his dad die, which is one of the problems that a lot of people have with the scene. However, the scene reads totally differently when you understand that he's only a junior in high school. I'm not saying it's a perfect scene, but I think the average audience would have understood the intent a lot better if the actor had been age appropriate. Thoughts? Sorry for the ramble, but I don't know anyone else who are about these little details as much as me. Thanks for all you do, Devin. Thank you, Devin. And yeah, I mean, it's interesting to think that, yeah, I mean, Clark is supposed to be a teenager, so him being more reluctant or less confident in what to do in that scenario, it makes more sense of that context. I think that's a very valid point. But you're right, when you watch it, we don't see a 17-year-old. We see Henry Cavill with tousled hair. But that's an interesting point. Jamie?
I saw him as young adult. He could have been 19, 22. I mean, I don't know that I ever put a tremendous amount of thought into it, but I know it wasn't like 2 weeks before he became the Superman we see in this movie. I recognize that, of course. But I don't know. I never had issues with that scene the way so many other people did anyhow. So I don't know how to really respond to that.
Yeah. Well, I think the more important point is that Jonathan died in 1997, which means the year prior, he saw Twister. he should have known what to do, which is to find the nearest pipe and tie himself to it, and he would have been fine. So really the fault lies with Jonathan for, not paying enough attention during the Bill Paxton, Helen Hunt, Jan de Bont summer spectacle that is Twister. It's on you, Jonathan. Sorry.
Well, maybe that's why, is because he became a storm chaser after seeing that like everybody else.
Yeah, I guess so. Superman couldn't have saved Jonathan, but do you know who could have? Dusty. Dusty would have saved Jonathan, and then he would have taken him out for steak and eggs.
Food.
Loser.
Move on.
Late again, aren't you? All right. Next message is from Imad Alagoose. It says, Superman. I love the movie. It's a perfect characterization of Superman, and Gunn really made it work. Not lame or cringy, and same with Krypto. I love that lots of comic stuff is thrown at you without much explanation. The kaiju, the interdimensional pocket, etc. You just enjoy the ride. Every new scene felt like turning a page in a comic book. Anyone can show up at any time. Genius. What do you guys think about some of the criticisms of Jimmy Olsen being toxic toward Tessmacher? Some say he was gaslighting her and treating her poorly. Lewis kind of called him out at the end of the movie, but I don't like that Jimmy is portrayed this way. Thoughts? Love you guys. Imad. Thanks, Imad. Well, Imad, I have a long answer and I have a short answer. First thing, I didn't know this was a criticism, is that people were saying that Jimmy was being toxic toward Eve. I didn't know that, but I shouldn't be shocked because the internet. Here's my long answer. It is very obvious from the film that he had not talked to her in a while. He had cut things off. He wasn't leading her on, wasn't gaslighting her. He only reached back out because Superman's life was in danger and he thought he could help. And so he reached back out. And then during multiple times in the movie, she was like, please, promise me this. And he didn't want to gaslight her. He didn't want to promise her anything that he didn't feel comfortable promising her. He tried to be nice to get the info to help Superman, but he never wanted to mislead her. So even when she put the extra pressure on him, he really tried to not do that. So I don't think it's fair to say his treatment of her was toxic. He was very clear that he wasn't interested in a relationship with her. So I think that's okay. And it wasn't until she pushed and pushed and pushed and said, I'm not going to help you unless you spend the weekend with me, that he's like, oh, I guess. But someone else's life was at stake. So he was trying to do the right thing with the connections that he had. I don't think that's toxic. I don't think that's gaslighting. That's my
She's the one that kind of gave him the ultimatum in that weekend scenario.
Yeah.
It wasn't him doing that to her. It was her doing that to him.
Right.
And him very reluctantly agreeing to it.
Yes. He wasn't Eve, I miss you. I love you. Let's get together. Oh, by the way, do anything. No, he never did that.
No. So in a perspective, I guess I can see why people would not appreciate him doing that. But I'm going to tell you, for me, I don't have a big issue with it. I don't have any issue with it. So
yeah. Well, that was my long answer. Do you want to hear my short answer?
Sure.
Give me a break. And that's all I have to say about that. Not you, Imad. Just to be clear. All right. Next message is from Mark Jurasevic. It says, hey, BatCasters, I hope all is well. I enjoyed your Superman movie review episodes and happy and a little relieved to say that the movie was excellent and has a 4.5 star rating from me. I've been seeing Brandon Skellner? I think so. Put his name in the ring and advocating himself to play Batman in the new DCU. I haven't seen him in Drop, but based on the Western series 1923, I think he might be a good choice. Physically, and at 35 years of age, he's in the ballpark and has the right look and seems to like playing brooding, more intense characters. Just wondering your thoughts on this. Cheers, Mark. Thanks, Mark. Well, with the trouble I had with Brandon's name, it should be clear I don't know who this is. So I'm sorry. I've not seen Drop or 1923, so I don't know who this is. I will say history is not good to people who put themselves in the running for big roles like Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Catwoman. So I wouldn't put any money on it if he's the one saying I should play Batman. But if you say he would be a good choice. I'm going to trust you, Mark.
I have no anything to offer there because I also have no idea who it was. My wife has watched 1923. I have not, so we could ask her, but she's out walking the dogs.
All right. Okay, next message is from, Dave Chambers. It says, hey, Holy BatCast team, so many good things to say about the new Superman. A colleague at work told me he saw it and made him want to be a better person, and that's just awesome. Superman should have that effect. Also, I loved how the movie dropped you in the middle of the story. Would it have been nice to see an origin story with this Superman? Of course, but that's only because I want more with this cast and crew. Speaking of the cast, David's performance as Superman was perfect. He truly captured the Man of Tomorrow in his performance, both in and out of the cape. My only complaint is I wanted to see more of Daily Planet Clark. Would have been good if Clark's story intertwined with the rest of the Planet crew. Also, did anyone else wonder why Perry wasn't wondering where Clark was in the third act? Rachel's Lois was everything you'd want in a Lois Lane performance. The moment that sold me was when she pushed harder in the interview with Superman after Clark said he thought he was doing a good job. The look she had in her eyes was classic Lois. The only thing missing was her calling him Smallville at some point. Nicholas Hoult was the perfect casting of Lex. His manipulation of the events, the way he studied Superman, it was all there. I could have done without the land bit, but his manipulation of the entire movie were as if they were pulled out of a comic book. Speaking of comics, he reminded me of Superman Birthright and Secret Origins, which are two of my favorite stories. I know this is getting long, so let me go to lightning round. Supergirl was great. Superman's suit looked a lot better than the initial picks. Jor-El and Lara looked stellar. Set design and the main areas looked great. Love that it felt like you could actually walk into the fortress. The Justice Gang were fun, and Mr. Terrific stole the show. Any thoughts on the engineer picking up maybe a particular Kryptonian supercomputer when she hacked the fortress? I would love for that to be the way we get to Brainiac. And Crypto, wow, loved every bit of him. Oh, and I love that kindness is the real punk rock. Superman forever, Dave. Thanks, Dave. Wow, lots of great thoughts. So happy you love the movie. And really good points overall about the cast and how great they were and some of these other things. Questions. Perry wondering where Clark was in the third act. I didn't even think of it. So yeah, that didn't even cross my mind, but I guess that's
if
true.
we didn't think of it, then Perry probably didn't either. And, you can make that question probably stand out in any other movie, any other cartoon, any other comic book. So is what it is.
Yeah. And the engineer picking up a Kryptonian supercomputer when she hacked the fortress. I love this theory. I hadn't thought of it. It's the first time seeing it, but that's a really cool idea if they want to go that way.
I'll roll with that.
Yeah. The kindness is the real punk rock. That's something I've seen get a lot of traction, rightfully so, because it's a terrific theme for the film. I love that. Something else I didn't get to say in our review, but you reminded me with your note here about Jor-El and Lara. I loved that, a couple months ago, we were talking about the movie and what we might see. I said, hey, do you think we're going to get the statues of Jor-El and Lara in the fortress? And it's like, well, that feels like something James Gunn would like. And we didn't get the statues. But having the giant holograms of them, it gave the visual of the statues, which I thought was whether it was intentional or not, I was like, oh, it's cool. He did it without doing it, which I thought was really clever.
Yeah, I agree with that. Space Nazis.
Right. I mean, and as long as we're talking about it, James Gunn has said it is not a forgery. It is not mistranslated. That is the message. And again,
I feel like the movie went out of its way to try and tell everybody that not once, not twice, but three different times.
Yep, 3 times they say no. The message is authentic. So yeah, for sure. All right, next message is from John McPherson. It says, hey, beautiful Bat Brothers. Second time, long time. Hope you're well. I've been playing Superman over in my head since my first viewing on opening night, and my love for the movie continues to grow. What's especially amazing is seeing the impact it seems to be having, not just as a movie, but on how people want to act as human beings. I've seen so many posts on social media saying it's such a hopeful movie and how it's punk rock to be kind and take care of those around you. and they want to be better people moving forward because of it. The one scene I'm seeing people reference as bringing them to tears and inspiring them is the moment where Soups catches the falling building and gives the woman in her car just enough time to escape before it crumbles around him. The score hits a crescendo perfectly, and the image of him rising from the dust with his cape billowing is just epic.
God, I love that shot so much.
Yeah, that's great. My question is this: has this single shot from the movie become one of the most iconic images of Superman on film? Which others would you place among as the most iconic, inspiring images of Superman on film or otherwise? Here's hoping Superman once again becomes a global role model for the type of people we all can be. Be well, stay nerdy, John McPherson. Thanks, John. Well, yeah, I mean, Jamie, you brought up that shot in your mini review last time.
It's my favorite shot in the movie.
It's a great one, and I love it. I think it's still early to call it one of the most iconic shots because it's only 2.5 weeks old, but I think it could be.
It made every hair on my body stand up even the second time I watched it, and I knew it was coming. So I would have a hard time saying that it's not.
Yeah.
But, time will tell. It's hard to label something instantly iconic, I think. But,
yeah.
But
especially because I'm not seeing it like elsewhere really yet. Like it'd be different if it was like that shot was also in the poster and it was also the end of the trailer. Like that would be different. But I'm not really seeing that. I think it was in the TV spot, but for the most part, it's kind of just living in the movie for now.
I equate that shot, that scene, very much to like what I talked about with BVS, where everybody else is running away from the carnage. Bruce is running smack dab headlong into it.
Yeah.
And I always say that is a Batman moment. Mm-hmm. Well, this shot that we're talking about now is a Superman moment. He's done everything he could to make sure that this woman gets to safety. The building collapses around him. The dust comes around. He raises up out of it. He looks down to make sure she's okay, goes back to business. That is a Superman moment. So to me, I'll just come out and say it. I think that's the most perfect moment in the entire film.
Awesome. So I will say another shot that I do think has become iconic in the past 2 weeks because I am seeing it everywhere. It's the final shot of the movie of him laying there in the fortress, looking up at the footage of his parents and smiling.
Yeah.
It's not the big epic heroic shot. It is the sweet human side of Superman shot, but I am seeing it everywhere. And
it's being mean to death right now. So
yeah, but like in the best possible way.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that one is already kind of becoming a part of Superman history, which I love. Some of the other ones I think of are ones that I talked about not that long ago in our Superman moments. That reveal of Cavill in Man of Steel with the doors open and you see him mostly in silhouette. I would call that an incredibly iconic Superman shot. I would say the reveal of Christopher Reeve in Superman the movie, but I would also say him and Lois flying, however you feel about that scene, that shot of him flying with Lois, I think is a part of movie history. So yeah,
I've seen Superman the movie I've seen all the Superman movies pretty much countless times, the Reeves films, especially the first two. And I'm telling you, at the end of that movie, when he's just flying around and he just gives that little wry smile at the camera, dude, every single time, goosebumps on that.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. So, yeah. And I will say this. So just because it made me think of it and it kind of came up in our review, but in our review, Brendan was like, oh, I wanted Lex TL, Ms. Tessmacher. And there was something in one of the previous emails that was something like that, where it's like, oh, I wish he'd have said this. And we talked about, oh, is Superman going to do the flyby with the smile to the camera? And there are certain nods to the past that we might have expected or wanted from this film, but I truly believe that James Gunn intentionally did not do that. Because it would have been very easy to do that, but I think that he didn't want to. I didn't think he wanted it to be like, oh, and I'm going to do a nod to Donner, and I'm going to do a nod to this. I think he wanted to avoid that so he could cement this version of Superman as its own thing, where it's not just paying homage to the past.
And honestly, I'm good either way. I'm good with him making that choice if that's why it was made. I'm good with him giving it the nod and kind of giving his version of that shot. I'm good either way.
Well, because he obviously is doing nods, but he's doing it far more subtly than you would expect from James Gunn. So he has Miss Tessmacher, but they call her Eve, and you never have a moment where Lex yells, Miss Tessmacher. You've got Otis, and by the credits, you learn that his name is Otis Berg. Of course, that's a nod, but
Otis Berg.
They don't call it out in the movie. So it's interesting where he is paying homage, but he doesn't want it to distract from the story he's telling, which the more you think about it, the more that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree.
But John, also just to reiterate your point, and it's, I think the best thing coming out of this movie is people coming out going, I want to be a better person, and feeling inspired by the kindness of Superman. You're right. That's what Superman should be, to make us
Who
all
knew that Helen
want to be
Hunt
better.
was Superman?
What?
No good?
What? I missed it.
As good as it gets. You make me want to be a better man.
Oh, yes. Okay, sorry. Yeah, thank you for connecting the dots. Yeah, absolutely. This episode of Holy BatCast is brought to you by Helen Hunt, apparently. Well, I mean, Jamie, you're a good friend, and I've got to admit, I'm mad about you.
Why? Thank you.
All right. Next message is from Jeff. It says, hey guys, I'm not really a great writer. I have a hard time writing out my feelings about something. So needless to say, I'm terrible on social media. So I'll keep my feelings about the Superman movie short and simple. I've only seen it once. I can't really afford to see it more than once in the theater. But just from listening to reviews and reading reviews, I want to know, is there a level above love or 5 stars? Because if there is, that's where the Superman lives for me. My favorite. No nitpicks at all. Keep the bat signal shining bright, my friends. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. I think, yes. We've said it before, Jamie. There have been multiple movies that we have raved about, that we have absolutely loved, and we called it the Christmas Story A+.
That is correct, sir.
And that's A++++++++. So yes, that would be it. And Jeff, I love that Superman is that for you.
Absolutely. I wish it would have been that for me, but again, I'm not disappointed with the movie. I'm very, very comfortable with where I'm at with this movie. I have a very solid relationship with it. And the fact that there are so many people out there I'm seeing saying, this is what I've been waiting for. This is the Superman I've wanted my whole life. This is my favorite Superman ever. God bless you. I am so happy to hear it.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Agreed. Awesome. All right. Next email here is from Michael. It says, greetings to the other DC Trinity, awesome Andy, jovial Jamie, and British Texan Brendan.
Jovial? I'm jovial now?
Maybe it's funny because it's completely the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Jovial. Anyway, he says, I just finished watching Superman, and I haven't felt such elation after watching a superhero movie since The Avengers in 2012. I'll admit I went in with my expectations in check, and I'm pleased to report that I now have a new favorite Superman movie. Man of Steel is great and all, but this movie tops it by the slightest margin. Doesn't mean it's perfect, but the positives heavily outweigh the negatives and nitpicks I have with the movie. What this movie has also done for me is help me become a Superman fan, right up there with my favorite superhero, Batman. My question for you, amazing people, is, as a new fan of Big Blue himself, what trades do you recommend for me to read that are excellent stories? Thank you so much for all that you do, especially helping me get through graveyard shifts that much easier. Keep up the great work, Michael Petzold. PC, I will PC. PS. PC principal. No, PS. I will not apologize for a long email. Okay, Michael. Well, Michael, I am so glad that this has rocketed to the top of your Superman movies. I'm so glad you love it. That's awesome. And up there with Batman. Those are big words, my friend. Big, big word.
I don't have Superman that far behind Batman.
Well, I mean, not that far behind, but Batman's Batman. Come on, show some respect. Anyway, so Michael's question: what trades or stories of Superman would you recommend, Jamie?
I'm a big fan of Birthright. I'm a big fan of Red Sun, but Red Sun's getting very deep into the Elseworlds. It's not a traditional Superman story.
Someone else mentioned
Public
it,
Enemies
but
was a good one if you want a little Superman Batman team up crossover action in
yeah,
there.
yeah. I was going to say someone mentioned it in an email not that long ago. Secret Origin, Superman Secret Origin
That's a
is
good one.
awesome. Yeah, highly recommend that one.
All the Secret Origins books were really good in my opinion, but
Yeah.
at least all the ones I read. I'm trying to think of something a little out of the box. I mean, if you got a lot of time on your hands, man, that Doomsday story from beginning to end was pretty remarkable.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. The Death and Return of Superman. It is a long one. It's worth mentioning, but I'm not super hot on it. Is All Star Superman? I like parts
The
of
movie
it.
was bizarre. The book is absolutely guano loco.
Yeah,
But
I'm
that's
not
Grant Morrison. Your mileage
right.
is going to vary on how much Grant Morrison you can take.
Right, I agree, but it's worth mentioning because someone else will say it. But it's like All Star Superman. A lot of people really love it. Your mileage may vary. I appreciate it. I don't quite love it. But yeah, there's a few.
There's something else I'm trying to think of here. All-Star, Batman, no. Oh, it's hard to make a lot of sense out of it, but I'm going to keep preaching this book's glory until the end of my days. If you haven't read The Death and Return of Superman, it may not necessarily jive with you, but Superman Doomsday Hunter Prey is a magnificent Superman story in my opinion.
Oh, all right, cool. Well, very nice.
It's basically Doomsday's origin.
Got it.
And you would love it, being the big Armageddon 2001 guy you are, because Wave Rider's involved in it.
What? Wave Rider? I'm in. You know, last year McFarlane did a Wave Rider action figure, and I bought that, and it's awesome.
Shut the front door.
It's so
he
cool.
He did, really?
Yeah. And I mean, I was like, who is this for except me?
The Rainbow Silver Surfer.
Oh my God, I love it. Anyway, so Michael, there you go. There are some recommendations for you on some Superman comics you can read. All right, next email is from Superman superfan Stephen Marshall.
Oh, here we go. I've been waiting for this one.
So it says, hey guys, hope you're doing well. I've seen Superman 3 times now, and I absolutely love it. I have some minor nitpicks, but nothing major. It's already one of my top 20 comic book movies of all time. I can't wait to see what's next for the Man of Steel, which leads me to wonder what James Gunn's secret project is. He called it a sort of sequel to Superman, one in which Superman will be very prominent, but he also confirmed it's not a Batman-Superman movie. A few online folks, including myself, have speculated, and the popular theory seems to be that it is Superman and the Legion of Superheroes. Thoughts? If not, what do you think it could be? My hope, if it is Superman and the Legion, is that they use the Jeff Johns book of the same name as inspiration. It's the right levels of hope, darkness, and weirdness that would suit Gunn to a T. Lastly, what do you think about his Batman Wonder Woman comments? It seems to me like those two are being fast-tracked, which in my opinion is the right call. I'm glad he's out to bed. I'm glad he's out to bed. Maybe that's a British term that I don't know. I'm also glad he's out to bed that Matt Reeves' universe. Oh, I bet it put to bed. I bet it was supposed to be put to bed. I'm glad he put to bed that Matt Reeves' universe will remain separate, although it's not like he hasn't already said that 147 times before. Anyway, sorry for the long email. Kind regards, Steven. Thanks, Steven. Yeah, I don't know how many times they need to say the Matt Reeves Batman is its own thing. They say it. And then someone's like, but what if? No, what if? They said it. It's separate. Just leave it alone.
How many years did we have to suffer through? Well, I guess it was only about one. The Bale coming into the DCEU.
Yeah. So the real question is a follow-up where Superman is prominent, but it is not a world's finest movie. I'll be honest. Superman and the Legion of Superheroes. Maybe I need to read the Jeff Johns book, but that, of course I would go, but that is certainly not at the top of my list of what I need to see.
So to me, Legion kind of follows, it's impossible not to draw parallels. Kind of follows the line of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
In my mind, I'm going to think to myself, who really cares about this? But if you make a really good movie, people will show up, and then you'll get 2 more sequels after that, plus a couple of crossover movie appearances. So who am I to say it's not the right thing to do?
Right.
Is it what I want? Is it what I'm asking for? No. But just like you said, they make it, I'll go.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. I can certainly be proven wrong, and Lord knows I'll still be there opening night. But yeah, it would be a really weird direction to go.
Gunn is not above weird. I can promise you that.
I mean, that's also valid. So, I mean, he confirmed it's not a Batman Superman movie, but it could be a Trinity movie. He could be being coy of like, it's not a Batman Superman movie. It's a Batman Superman Wonder Woman movie. I don't know much he's splitting hairs there. But I mean, my other thought is, what if we were to follow the Justice Gang into their own movie while they go recruiting, and then Superman's a supporting player? I could see that making sense considering what was set up in this film. So who knows? I know that there's allegedly this secret project that we don't know about, but none of the theories make me go, oh yeah, it's probably that. I just don't know. It's really hard to tell.
He'll let us know when he's ready. I mean, that's is it fun for us to speculate and all that? Sure, but inevitably somebody's going to wind up disappointed because it's not what they thought was coming.
Right.
And who the hell knows? With him, it could be Batmite mix it whatever, how you say it. Mix his pet lick or whatever it is. Those 2 teaming up. Gunn would probably make that movie if somebody told him it was okay to do so.
I would go see that movie.
I probably would too. Is it what I want? No, but
the Batmite, Mr. Mixel-Spitlick version of Midnight Run, I'm in.
The 4th Dimension's finest. That's what they should title it right there.
And then the comments about Batman and Wonder Woman. Again, I feel like he's still being very vague with Batman. Almost annoyingly so, where it's like he goes, yes, we love Batman. Yes, I have plans for Batman. Can we not talk about that right now? That's what I keep getting from his comments. So I want news sooner than later, like I said earlier. But I agree with what you're saying here, Stephen. Is yes, I want Batman and Wonder Woman in this universe next. I think those should be quote unquote fast tracked, or at least should be priority. So yeah, I really hope that's the case.
So I can say from my perspective, obviously I want a new Batman movie every damn week, but let's be in reality for a second. I feel like, and this is my own take, this is not anything I've tried to decipher from comments that are made or anything else, that literally he is trying to make it so Batman is not the end all be all core of this universe. The only way it's going to go is with him. I feel like he's trying to establish everything that he can before bringing Batman into the fold. And obviously Batman is a huge piece of the DC universe. Huge, arguably the most important piece. But if Batman is what you need for everything else to succeed, is the universe actually going to be successful? Yeah. Case in point, and I'm not beating the dead horse. I promise you, I'm not trying to do it, but the second movie in the DCEU had to bring Batman in.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least they felt like that's what they wanted to do, that, or they felt they had to do that for whatever reason, for more financial success, whatever the thought process was at that point. I think Gunn's trying to avoid making that happen in his universe.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, I totally understand where you're coming from. And I get it. You know, like you said, as a Batman fan, I want more and I want it now. But there is something to be said for not making Batman the center of the universe. So, yeah.
And maybe he eventually will, but it's to make the universe dependent on Batman, I feel like is a mistake, because as much as we love Batman and he is our favorite character, there's a lot of phenomenal characters in the DC universe that you can have go stand on their own legs without Batman's involvement.
Blue Devil. That's what the Secret Project is. It's a Superman Blue Devil team up movie. And I'm here for
somebody who would buy a ticket to that.
Yeah, you do. All right. Well, Next email here is from Jim Scroggs again. Let me read it to you.
Okay.
Sips water, clears throat, taps mic. Lex is a cunt. Well,
Are we sure Brendan didn't write that?
I mean, maybe Brendan hacked Jim, but well done, Jim. Well done.
He is, but in the best possible way.
As he should be. All right. Next email is from Trevor. It says, "Hey, Andy and the gang. My name is Trevor. I'm a long-time listener, first-time emailer. Hi, Trevor. Nice to meet you." Says, "I don't have any questions. I just wanted to say that I love the new Superman movie, and I'm going to my third showing this afternoon. I also wanted to let you know that the Hall of Justice is the Union Terminal in Cincinnati, which is now known as the Cincinnati Museum Center. Being from Kentucky, my wife and I try to visit there every year to check out the new exhibits and displays. Last year, we went to their DC Hall of Justice Halloween event where you get to roam around the museum after hours. There were tons of creepy displays as well as DC-inspired drinks, snacks, and booths. I appreciate that I can come to you all each week for a positive dose of DC content. Holy BatCast is one of my longest running favorite pods. Keep up the good work." Thank you, Trevor, and very cool. They had a DC Halloween event at the Hall of Justice. Trevor.
Andy, I'm just here to tell you, Cincinnati's a 3-hour drive for me. I know you love getting on planes anyway. If you don't have any plans for late October, buddy.
They made this event for me and only me. Oh my God. Like, that's amazing. How freaking cool. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. I had no idea they did that. I knew it was in Cincinnati. I knew that it was the Union Terminal, but I thought it was still in operation. Maybe I didn't realize that it turned into a museum where they have events and things. So that is so cool. I love that. Well, very cool, Trevor. Thank you for sharing and thank you for messaging, and nice to finally digitally meet you. That's super cool. Love it.
I might just go without you.
I want to go. Maybe we can figure something out.
Well, you have 200 vacation days every year?
Oh, not even. But, it's not like I do anything else in October.
You act like you're busy or something.
All right. Another message from Mark Jurasevic. It says, "Hey, Batcasters, there was a particular scene in Superman in which Jimmy met with Eve in a dark alley to get some info on Lex. The way the scene was shot and lit song with the score." Anyway, sorry. These typos throw me off. The way the scene was shot and lit, and with the score, I almost thought Jimmy's source was going to be Batman, albeit hidden in the shadows. Just wondering if you'd had those thoughts while watching the scene. It may have been a tease on Gunn's part, but it was a good one. Take it easy, Mark. Mark, that did not cross my mind, but now I want to watch that scene again to hear what score they play that made you think Batman could be there. What
feels like a lot of hopeful optimism there.
Yeah, it would be weird for Batman's name and Jimmy's phone to be Mutant Toes.
Looks like shrimp cocktail was spilled on the floor.
Yeah. Does that mean Brett Radner was here?
Some people laugh, the others need an explanation.
Anyone else can Google it. I didn't think that, Mark, but I like where your head's at, and now when I watch it again, I'm going to try and think of that. All right. I got one last email. Oh my God, we freaking did it.
We got through the whole thing. Holy crap.
I mean, yeah, it was a lot.
It's all because of that one email that was just what we needed or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about or whatever. Yeah. Or that's more like it. That's more like it.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
And also Lex is a yeah, that one. All right. This one's from Gabe Nakamura. It says, "Hey, Holy BatCast. Hope you and your families are doing well. I enjoyed your Superman review show. I was pretty confident that I would enjoy Gunn's movie. It's probably my favorite Superman movie, but I'm glad the wider audience embraced it as well. It's been fascinating to me. It's been fascinating to me to see how much conversation it's generating. There are even some political shows I watch on YouTube that felt compelled to sing the movie's praises. What do you think DC should prioritize now? I'd like to see movement on the Matt Reeves Batman and the Robin project, the dynamic duo. I still want the Batman series to continue, but I think dynamic duo could be a great way to introduce the DCU Batman and give Matt Reeves a little bit of time to finish what he started. Also, Mr. Terrific should get a movie or show. Are there any ideas you have for what could be next, or what do you want to see? Gabe. Thanks, Gabe. Well, Dynamic Duo has a release date. Trying to remember what it was. Hang on.
That's a theatrical, right?
Yeah, that is it is animated.
Theatrical. Right, I knew that, but I was trying to make sure it wasn't like an HBO Max thing or something.
No, June 30th, 2028. So that's
a minute.
Yeah, we got a minute, but it's animated, so it takes a while. So
that's so far out, we might actually have a He-Man movie in front of us by that point.
That's so far out that I'm like, I hope I get to see it. Yeah, so we got 3 more years before we get to see Dynamic Duo, but that one is going to take what it's take, and it seems like it's in production, so it's moving right along. I don't think there's any way to get it sooner. So my point is, I don't want to wait that long to meet the DCU's Batman.
No, sir.
No. Find a way to meet him earlier and then make it make sense with Dynamic Duo later. So, yeah.
Oh, I should ask, is there more movement on the Deathstroke project?
I have heard nothing about that since it was announced.
Okay.
So, yeah. Like Joe and Eric keep bringing it up, and I keep forgetting about it because there's been like nothing. It's been radio silent.
Boo.
He mentioned Mr. Terrific should get a movie or show. There's been murmurs of that, of Mr. Terrific either getting a movie or show, or like what I said, like I would happily watch Justice Gang spinned off into their own project and then recruiting a couple other new heroes. I mean, Blue Beetle could join very easily, and Blue Devil, and now you got a team of 5
and a lot of blue.
Boom, double blues.
Well, we get more Justice Gang next month, right?
We do. Yeah, we do. We're going to get to see him briefly in Peacemaker. I assume briefly. I don't know for sure, but yeah, we're going to see them in Peacemaker, and we're going to get more Guy Gardner in Lanterns next year. So yeah, cool. But if it were up to you, Jamie, what would you like to see next, or what would you prioritize?
Well, I mean, since I'm just doing my own wish list here, a Bat Family.
Yeah.
Whether it be all in one movie or 11 different movies out on their own, I would just love to see an established universe, Bat Family, Batgirl, all the Robins, Nightwing, Batwoman, hell, even throw Duke and Stephanie and all those other ones in there. Just all of them. Cass.
Mm-hmm.
Do it James Tynion style and throw Clayface into the mix. I don't even care. Just give me a Bat Family movie.
All right.
Or series of movies.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you, obviously. I already said, like, I agree with making the priority Batman and Wonder Woman. I feel like we should get the DC Trinity back on screens. So that aside of things that they've announced or things that we know are in development, just because of my own personal taste, I would say the Teen Titans movie that allegedly has been written. We haven't heard much about that since then, but they just had Anna Navarro start on a Wonder Woman movie, which means she must be done with Teen Titans. Hopefully they like the script, but I love those characters. I would love a Teen Titans movie. It's a way to get a Robin or a Nightwing in a movie. So I would prioritize that too. I would love that. I'm trying to think like I don't think there's anything wrong with like letting Aquaman and the Flash rest for a minute, even though I love them and would love to see them again. But I think it's okay for them to kind of give us a minute because those movies were very recent. So just trying to think of what else in the DC universe I would prioritize aside from that. There have been murmurs of a Joker Harley movie again. Have you seen anything about that?
No, but I mean, at this point, why don't we all wanted what do we call it? Gotham City Sirens, where it was Harley, Ivy, and
Yeah.
God, there was a third one in there, and I can't think of who it was.
Catwoman.
Catwoman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my
I could
God.
do without. Just give me Harley and Ivy. I could do without Catwoman, but
It's funny that you mentioned that. It's like, oh yeah, they did announce that, didn't they?
yeah.
Oh,
Let's get a little girl power going for it. I mean, we got Supergirl coming. Let's go ahead and introduce it for Batman's side of the fence too.
I am totally fine with that. I would love it. I mean, if
how about a Harley and Ivy movie where Batgirl and Batwoman are trying to take them down? Shit, go over there and get my wallet, would you?
Yep. I would love that. I agree. I think that's super cool. Yeah, I think that what we're getting at, both you and I, is that, okay, we know the Brave and the Bold is in development somewhere. We don't know if that's sooner or later. We don't know. Dynamic Duo is 3 years away. But we want to get to know the Gotham City of this new universe. So if we've got to wait for those other things, what's a way that we can get in there now? And you're right. It could be a Gotham City Sirens. It could be a Bat Family. It could be a Robin or a Nightwing and a Teen Titans. Basically, we want to start dipping our toe into Batman's world in this universe because we love it and we miss it.
Hear, hear.
So
I maintain, and we've had this discussion a lot, behind the doors and even on the show a little bit. We all really feel like, and I think a lot of you out there feel like, there's way more progress on Brave and the Bold than anybody's letting us know about right now.
I think that's true, but they're still not ready to share it with us.
I mean,
it's worth.
I told you guys the other day, the ultimate petty move by Gunn would have been to drop everything he had about Brave and the Bold today, since Fantastic Four released today. But well, apparently, Gunn isn't petty like I am. So.
He's not. But I was going to say it's Comic-Con weekend.
This weekend is?
Yeah, Comic-Con's happening right now as we speak.
Holy shit! That shows you how much clout
Surprise
Comic-Con has now.
Well, it is crazy, like how understated Comic-Con has become. So I think
they're back to focusing on comic books.
I know. Wow, what a concept. God forbid. I think they're doing a Peacemaker panel. So we'll probably get something from that, and who knows what James Gunn will talk about at that point. But yeah, I mean, on display at Comic-Con, you can look it up, is He-Man's sword from the Masters of the Universe movie and Skeletor's staff.
Really?
And they look real cool. They
look like they should.
Yep, they look right out of the cartoon.
As long as friggin' Orko isn't, dude. I'm telling you what. When I get a shot of Battle Cat from that trailer, I'm gonna pass out.
I gotta tell y'all, next June, this is becoming Holy MasterCast because I've been waiting for a He-Man movie so damn long, and God, I hope that they pulled it off. Anyway,
that movie's been in development hell longer than the Meg.
Yeah. Yep. But I mean, it's in the can. It's been made. It's real, of course. So is Batgirl. Anyway, that's it. We caught up on emails. Woohoo! Go us! If you've got something for the Wayne Manor Mailbox for next time, you can send that to Holy BatCast at rf4rm.com. And thank you to everybody for writing in, sharing your thoughts and your feelings and your questions. Love it. We really do appreciate you guys. We appreciate you being part of the conversation, keeping us on our toes with the questions. But yeah, it was really great to hear from all of you. Sounds like everybody who wrote in liked or loved Superman, and that's also great. So glad to hear you guys are enjoying it and going to see it. Keep supporting it, buy the stuff, and can't wait to see what happens next.
Hey, you wanted me to remind you about Superman movie rankings, but we're already sitting north of 2 hours, so maybe next time.
I got them right here.
All right.
I got them right here. So, was it 3 episodes ago? A few episodes ago, we ranked the Superman films minus the new one, because at that point, the new one hadn't come out. So we ranked the 7 Superman films, starting with Superman the movie, all the way through Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice. And we shared our rankings, and I realized that prior to that episode, I didn't put it out to the listeners, and usually I like to do that. So I put it out to the listeners after that episode published, and boy, did you guys share your thoughts and your rankings, and now I've got the results. So sorry I didn't remember to share it last time, but hey, we were in the excitement of a new Superman movie. That's what we were talking about. But now I'd love to share with you how you guys did. I will say the closest race was for the bottom 2 slots, Jamie.
You don't say.
Yeah. The top 2 were really close for a really long time, and then eventually they diverged, and then it became a pretty clear winner. So, all that is to say, number 7 in last place is Superman 4, The Quest for Peace.
Huh. I would have thought 3 would have took it, but what do I know?
Yeah. Well, number 6 is Superman 3. And again, the margin between the two is tiny. Like, one more person voting could have changed how these are ranked. That's how close they were. Moving up, number 5, Superman Returns. Number 4, Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice. Number 3, Superman 2. And you know what that leaves for 2 and 1, Jamie?
Exactly as I would have expected.
Yeah.
But I am curious to see which one pulled it off.
Yep. Again, they were neck and neck for a very long time. And they've actually swapped positions multiple times, but then one of them took the lead. So number 2, the runner-up is Man of Steel.
Wow.
Yeah. So that means number 1, based on the listeners, was Superman the movie, 1978.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Did Thomas J. Wagner vote 46 times? Is that why this happened?
I don't even think he voted one time, if I'm being honest.
He's probably too busy watching this movie because last I knew, he's seen it 7 times.
Has he?
Yes.
Oh my God, I love that. Of course, I would expect no less, but that's great. But yeah, I don't think he even gave me a ranking, if I'm being honest. I might have forgotten to ask him, and if he's not if he's not paying attention to the Facebook page, I don't know how much he pays attention anymore.
His ranking probably would have just been, I love them all, and you can't make me choose.
Yeah. I will say, I want to give a special shout out and apology to our friend Spencer, because Spencer's favorite is Superman 3, and he was not happy with us after that episode.
I defended it to an extent.
You did, to an extent. We're sorry, Spencer. We hope you forgive us.
As I said, I don't dislike any Superman movie.
I will watch any of these tonight if you want to. For sure.
There are others I would just much rather watch than others.
Yeah. Yes. Well said. Anyway, so thank you also to everybody who put in their rankings, because I do love crunching those numbers. I love seeing how it all pans out. And yeah, I think that's a very good, respectable ranking. I have no problem with that.
You're such a math nerd.
I am. Which is weird because I wouldn't consider myself that, but I do like my spreadsheets. So anyway, thank you to everybody who did that on the Facebook page. Love those ranking episodes. We appreciate it. But as Jamie said, we have passed the 2-hour mark. We have answered lots of questions. We've had a lot of super talk, and it's been fun, but Jamie's got to get to bed. I guess technically I do too, but mostly Jamie.
I have to work tomorrow.
Yuck. But Jamie, thanks for staying up late for me and for the listeners. We all appreciate you.
Yeah, it was a good time. Glad we got through that massive mailbag there.
Yeah. Anything or anywhere people can keep up with you these days?
A little bit here and there on Letterboxd, a little bit here and there on the Real Fans group and Facebook. God, bubble wrap every celebrity out there right now, right?
Yeah. Right. I saw that. Someone bubble wrap Willie Nelson. Anyway, I already told you guys where to follow me, but thank you as always for joining us. Thanks for downloading or streaming the show. Please do follow or subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. We would love that. And something else you can do to support us, if you want to help us out, just leave us a nice review wherever you get your podcasts. A 5-star review really goes a long way. It means a lot, makes me feel good, and it helps more people find the show. So we would love it. Only takes a minute, and it's totally free. So that would be awesome. Again, find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for Holy BatCast. you've got something for the Wayne Manor Mailbox, that email address again is holybatcast@rf4rm.com. Our theme music was created by the talented Gaurav Venkateswar. Hey, Eric, that's Gaurav Venkateswar. One more time, Gaurav Venkateswar. You can find his work at gvtunes.com. Only Eric's going to get that. Sorry about it. But
I just call him George Van Winkle because it's the only way I can remember.
But Gaurav's daughter just celebrated her first birthday. So also, big happy birthday. She's adorable, and I'm so happy for you guys. So, yep, shout out to Gaurav and the family. But that will do it for this episode. On behalf of Jamie and absentee Brendan, thanks for joining. We'll see you next time. Same bat time, same bat channel. Holy BatCast is not affiliated with Warner Brothers or DC Entertainment. The views and opinions shared by the participants are theirs and theirs alone and do not represent the companies or organizations they happen to work for. Uh-oh.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good.
What you up to?
I have my underwear.
Can you go put some underwear on? Oh, thank you. Huggies.
You talk about.
Yeah, I'm talking to Uncle Jamie.
I'm going to say hi, Uncle Jamie.
Say hi to Uncle Jamie.
Hi, Uncle Jamie.
Hi, Harley.
He says, hi, Harley.
How do you like your crypto book?
How do you like your crypto book?
How am my crypto book?
Yeah, crypto. Uh-oh, here comes Mommy.
What did I say? Underwear first, please.
I think I love you.
Oh, I love you. Give me huggies. Take the huggies. Why are you so sweet?
Why are you drawing?
I'm writing down so I can edit this out later.
I'm podcast.
No, don't touch. No touchy. You on a pod? Can you say I'm on a podcast?
I'm on a podcast.
Yeah, you are.
I'm to put the button.
No pushing the buttons though. Okay, not till you're older. All right, go put some clothes on.
I'm to scratchy.
You want scratchy?
Okay. You can take it with you. Really.
Okay, I love you. Go put on.
Come on.
Go put on jammies.
Come on. Can you please put some clothes on?
Oh my
I
goodness.
love you.
Oh, I love you. You're the sweetest.
Come on.
Have a good night.
Thank
Have a good
you.
night, podcast.
You need to watch your
Okay. She said you need to work your podcast.
Cherish those moments, dude.
Dude, I do. I absolutely do. Why?
My daughters just went today on a 3-day.
Nice big cow. Come on, dude.
Bye. I love you. I love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.